Groovy.
I got some new games. Oh, what a glorious day. Oh, get new games. The kids show you can wait. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Jim here with another pickups video. I think it's been maybe a couple of months since I've done one of these, and I honestly don't have all that much. This stack of like 10 games right here, but they're all pretty cool, and I figured it was about time to do one of these. So I have my trusty bottle of water with me so I don't get too parched and end up coughing up phlegm all over my microphone, because nobody likes that. Least of all me. Let's get started with some pickups. And I will first direct your attention to this very handsome metal lunchbox with the cool Earthworm Jim cover art on it. I haven't carried my lunch in a lunchbox since I was maybe like 10 years old, but when I saw that my friend Roddy had this Earthworm Jim lunchbox up for sale, I could not say no, just to have a cool little collector's piece in the collection, because Earthworm Jim is actually one of my favorite 16-bit games, so I was very, very happy to pick this up. Love the games, love the cartoon as well, with Dan Castellaneta voicing Earthworm Jim. I've always kind of envisioned myself as I wanted to grow up and live up to the lofty standards of Earthworm Jim, and I think I've managed to do that. So, very cool lunchbox. You can't play it, but you can put lunch in it if I ever want to. If I want to start bringing my lunch to work. Over at Japan Headlines, where I've been doing some work recently. If you haven't already, go and check out that Japan Headlines, awesome channel that I'm working on, link down in the description. But enough plugging, enough pouring out my other channel. Let's get to some video games, and first up, I have a couple of Famicom games here, and this first one on top, I believe it was just released this year. I don't know how long it's been in development. It is another game published by Columbus Circle. They've made a lot of cool indie stuff for the Famicom recently. This is Battle Kid. And Battle Kid is, it's like a cross between Mega Man and almost a Metroid style of exploration, because as you defeat bosses and get additional power-ups, you can go and explore other areas of the game that you couldn't access before. So I guess that's the best way to explain it. A cross between Mega Man and Metroid. Simple graphics, but still, you know, charming in their own way. I would say more in common with Mega Man 1 than with Mega Man 6. But, you know, pretty cool graphics. Very good soundtrack. All of these Columbus Circle games that I've been picking up, they all have great soundtracks. This one does, and Kidda Kidda Star Night DX. That game has a phenomenal soundtrack. So Battle Kid, I do believe this is also available on the NES. I would recommend picking it up. Very cool game. Battle Kid on the Famicom. Also on the Famicom, I'd never heard of this game, and there weren't any, you know, nothing to let me know what kind of game it is. I found it in a book-off near here. The game is called Flip Pool, and it's an exciting cube game. So all I knew was that it said an exciting cube game, so I was guessing, yeah, it's probably a puzzle game. Then I saw that it was published by Taito, so I figured I'd take a shot. And this is actually a very cool little puzzle game. I did some research. I guess this game is also called Plotting in other parts of the world, and it was released on a lot of home computers, I think like the Amiga and the ZX Spectrum and stuff like that. So Flip Pool, very cool. Basically, you're a little gooey character on the left side of the screen, and then on the right side are all these blocks with different shapes on them, and you gotta throw the block that you have at those and basically clear all the different combinations of shapes from the screen without trapping yourself and leaving yourself with no options. So it is fun. I like it a lot. So if you can find Flip Pool, I don't know how much this goes for. I think I got my copy for like $5 or something. But if you can get a copy of Flip Pool or Plotting, I believe it's also released on the Game Boy. There's a Game Boy version of this game. Pick it up if you like puzzle games. It's really cool. Flip Pool for the Famicom. I found 2 Mega Drive games recently that I was happy to find both of these because they're both really good games. First up, Rolling Thunder 2. And I think most people have played Rolling Thunder at some point in their lives, but basically side-scrolling action game where you're on the ground level, but you can jump up into balconies and you go indoors to like get ammo and new weapons and things like that. And basically just go from right to left, kill all the enemies, and that's about it. I think this game is 2 players. I know there are 2 selectable characters. There's a man and a woman. But I'm not 100% sure if it's 2 players or not. It is, okay. On the back you can see, this is a 2-player game. I haven't had the chance to play it 2 players yet, but it's fun. I believe I once, in one of my top 10 videos, I talked about the game Codename Viper, and how very similar that game is to this. So if you've never played this, but you've played Codename Viper, very similar games. Just a really fun, straightforward action game, good graphics, good soundtrack. I like it a lot. Rolling Thunder 2 on the Mega Drive. Definitely worth picking up if you can. The air's a little bit dry in here. There's winter air. I think I need a humidifier or something. Next, this game, I used to have it, sold it, found it again, and just had to pick it up. This game is called X Ranza, but in the US, and I believe in Europe as well, in PAL regions, this is called Ranger X. And this is an excellent game because it's a mech action game, but essentially you have your mech and then you have like this really cool like robo-cycle. I don't really know how to describe it. I don't recall what they call it in the game, but you have like a robo motorcycle thing and you have your mech, and I believe you even have like a flying thing that you can use. But it's awesome. Again, another pretty straightforward action game. You just like run, jump, you can fly around and just blow everything away before you get to the end of the stage, and you can merge with your cyber cycle thing and go driving through the stage and shooting from your cyber cycle. So it's very cool. So this is another one, and I'm pretty sure developed and published by Sega. I guess so. It just says Sega and GAO Entertainment. I don't know what else GAO Entertainment worked on, but they did a great job on this game. So X Ranza, or Ranger X, really fantastic game, very fun, kind of a unique premise with being able to merge with the other vehicles and stuff, and really good graphics, really good sound design. Another just excellent game on the Mega Drive that after selling it, I was like, I really need to get that game back, and so I did. X Ranza, Mega Drive, great game. Some PC Engine finds. Pretty cool stuff. First up, this is Pumping World, and what this is Buster Brothers. And if you've never played Buster Brothers, it's more of an action puzzle game where you're at the bottom of the screen and you can shoot sort of like grappling hook cords to the top of the screen while these like bubble things bounce all around the screen. So you gotta pop all the bubbles without getting hit. It's fun. Can be pretty challenging, but just a great game. It was super cheap. I think I got this for I think $8 at Trader. So I was really happy to pick this up because I've played Buster Brothers in the arcade and on the Super Famicom. So more Buster Brothers, not a bad thing. Originally made by Capcom, but this port was done by Hudson Soft apparently. So really good game. Pumping World on the PC Engine CD. So it's region free, it's cheap, and it's a lot of fun. So if you are so inclined, if you like Buster Brothers, pick this one up. It's really affordable. Pumping World on the PC Engine CD. On HuCard, I just had an inkling that this was going to be one of the Wonder Boy games. It's called Adventure Island, and like a lot of the Wonder Boy games have weird titles here. There was some other one, it was something or other Hero, and then one was like Bikuriman World. They just took the Wonder Boy games and reskinned them as you know, under different titles. And this is one of those instances. This is Adventure Island, and I believe that this is the Dragon's Trap, where you start out as the regular Wonder Boy character, but you turn into a dragon thing, and then you can turn into like a little tiny guy that can stick to walls, and there are other things you can transform into. This is a great game. It's really fun, sort of like more of an open world to explore as you get different forms and power-ups. You can go to different areas. Great graphics. I love the character designs in here. Excellent soundtrack. Just everything about this game is cool. So Adventure Island, or Wonder Boy, Dragon's Trap, whatever it is, if you can play it, definitely do. Really, really cool game. I like it a lot. And we need another water break. Oh, so parched in my little apartment. It's like a vacuum. Sucked all the moisture out of the air. Alright. This game, excellent in a series I like a lot. This is a Nagsat port of a Capcom game. This is 1943 Kai. And what this is if you played 1942 and 1943 on the NES, this is, I guess, maybe, is this more of like a port of the arcade version, I'm assuming? But it's really, really good. Very fast-playing, sort of like just really high-intensity shooter. I was really impressed by just like how fast it plays and how many enemies are on the screen at one time and how many bullets. It really does get kind of out of control in this game. Not quite bullet hell, but close. It's approaching that Maniac style of gameplay when you get into the later levels especially. So I love this game. Tons of power-ups, and of course you have your energy bars, like your fuel that is constantly like depleting. So you gotta destroy strings of red planes to get more fuel and more power-ups. When you're fighting the boss things like battleships and big airplanes and stuff, you have to destroy enough of them, like something like 70 or 75% of the boss in order to move on to the next stage. So this game, just awesome gameplay, great graphics, great sound design. This is definitely, I love 1943 on the NES, but picking this up and playing it for the first time, I was like, okay, this is it right here. This is an amazing shooter on the PC Engine. I would highly recommend picking it up. 1943 Kai, great game. And we come to 3 Dreamcast pickups I got recently. The mighty Sega Dreamcast. First up, a game that I guess isn't so mighty. I like it, although I do have some gripes. This is Dux. D-U-X, which I guess is the name of the ship in the game. It's all detailed on the back right there. I'm not gonna bother reading right now. Side-scrolling shoot-'em-up by HuCast, which has, I would say, a lot in common with maybe R-Type. This game feels like a lot like an R-Type clone, which is fine. There are, I think, better examples of that. I think Last Resort on the Neo Geo is a bit of an R-Type clone. Last Hope, Pink Bullets is also an R-Type clone. I think those games are better done than this one, although I will say, as frustratingly difficult as this game can be, I was progressing pretty good, getting into like stage 3, pulling my hair out a little bit, but having fun. The graphics, I like the graphics. They're like simple. Like I've heard some people say that it looks like a Flash game or something like that. I don't know if I'd go that far. I do like that it's a very colorful game, and there is at least some variety in the stages. They have different themes to them. So I don't mind the graphics so much. I think the soundtrack is pretty cool. And the gameplay, while frustratingly difficult, is still pretty fun. It's still a decently programmed shooter. It's just I guess the stage layouts. It's extremely difficult, especially if you're just picking it up and playing it for the first time. You're gonna be dying so much, and it's gonna be aggravating you. But eventually, I was finding myself enjoying this game a lot more. It just took me a little while to get into it, and really just like learn the placement of all the enemies and the patterns and things. But once I was more accustomed to it, I was liking it more and more. So Dux, you can find reviews of this game all over YouTube. I would say go and check it out and maybe play it and decide for yourself. I didn't think it was that bad. So Dux, another example of a game that I used to have. Sold it, which I was surprised because I was looking for it on the shelf and I was like, where the hell is it? Oh, that's right, I sold it. Power Stone. Power Stone, I don't think I need to say a whole lot about this. Fantastic game by Capcom. Some of their, just the awesome work they were doing in the late 90s, early 2000s. Really great characters, really fun gameplay, sort of an open arena fighting game. So, I mean, graphics, the sound design, the gameplay, the characters themselves, it's all good. So Power Stone, fantastic game on the Dreamcast, and now I need to get another copy of Power Stone 2, because that game is great. And I'm really kicking myself because I found both of these games for like $1 a piece at a Hard Off, and those were the copies I had until I went to Texas, and I ended up selling both of them. Now I gotta find them again, and I paid $10 for it this time. But Power Stone, fantastic game on the Dreamcast. Love it a lot. And last but not least, I picked myself up another Dreamcast shooter, which I'm always happy to do. I think I would like to get all of the shooters on the Dreamcast, and then finally do my top 10 Dreamcast shooters list. But this is Shikigami no Shiro 2, or the Castle of Shikigami 2. This game is fantastic. I've already played the third game on the Xbox 360 and loved it. Even included it in my top 10 Xbox 360 shooters list. This game, I would say, is just as good. I don't see a whole lot of differences, to be honest, between 2 and 3. I think it's really all the same characters, essentially the same gameplay. I mean, it's not the same stages and bosses or anything, but the gameplay is more or less identical. You get all the same characters to choose from. I think there are like 8 selectable characters in here. They all have different shot patterns and different like super bombs, and just there's a lot of variety amongst the characters, I'll say that. So it's a lot of fun, plays really well, it's challenging, the graphics are awesome, the soundtrack is awesome. If I do get around to doing a top 10 Dreamcast shooters list, which I'm sure I will eventually, this one's definitely going to be on it. It's a really good shooter on the Dreamcast. If you have not played this or the third one, if you haven't played any of the Castle of Shikigami games yet and you're a shooter fan, definitely do. They're awesome. So Shikigami no Shiro 2 on the Dreamcast. Really happy to have that. And that'll do it. Those are all of the pickups I got as of late. So not a lot of games picked up, but I can safely say I've enjoyed playing all of them. There's not a single dud in the bunch. I would say maybe the one I've enjoyed the least might be like Ducks, just because initially I was really frustrated with it, but did still end up enjoying it eventually. So everything on the table here is good. Everything is good. All of this is good. Any one of the games I mentioned in this video, if you can find it for a price that's right for you, I'd recommend picking them up. I've been enjoying them. Some shooters, platformers, puzzlers, it's all good. Anyway, everybody, thank you for watching. Let me know down in the comments, have you played any of these games? And if so, what did you think of them? I would like to know. And until next time, thanks for watching, everybody. Take care. Goodbye.